Hello, and welcome back to another Chris McPherson Show, World Cup Cricket Daily for the 12th of February. If you're enjoying the content so far, make sure to hit subscribe. If you're here for the first time, hit like on the video as well. Get involved in those comments either way, and make sure to check out our social media channels at The Chris Mac Show, Instagram, TikTok, Facebook, X, and of course here at YouTube. You can find us on all of those for your sports shorts snippets. But all right, there's plenty to talk about from the World Cup. A huge night of action overnight. 3 games to unpack, and then 3 previews for the day ahead. So let's start with Afghanistan and South Africa. And my, oh my, an instant World Cup classic. While you're watching along, you're watching and thinking, what did we just witness? South Africa beat Afghanistan after a double super over. After the first innings for both sides ended all locked up at 187 each, then the first super over tied at 17 runs apiece. Finally, South Africa got it done by the barest of margins, 23-19 in the second super over. It came down to the final ball. It was brutal. It was chaotic. And honestly, it was heartbreaking for Afghanistan because Ramanullah Gurbaz played like a superhero, but he wore the loss on his own shoulders. It was tough. Afghanistan came into this match needing to win to really keep their semi-finals and Super 8's hopes alive, and they went spin heavy on a very grippy Ahmedabad deck. South Africa still found a way early through to Cock and Rickleton, though, who both cracked 50s and put on a huge stand that looked like it was setting up a winning platform. Afghanistan's comeback man was, of course, who else but Rashid Khan. After an expensive start, he snapped the game back with some key wickets, and South Africa slowed down hard late. Then Gurbaz lit the fuse. He was dealing in sixes, taking down pace and spin, and turned it into one man versus the South African machine vibe. South Africa kept chipping away. Ngidi was outstanding again, and Maharaj kept the pressure on with smart shape and pace. And then the regulation time madness. Afghanistan needed 13 off the last over with 1 wicket in hand. South Africa bowled no balls, nor Ahmad hit crucial blows, and Afghanistan still found a way to run themselves into a tie with a costly running error when they didn't need to push a second. That took us to the first of the super overs. Afghanistan peeled off 17 and it looked big, setting 18 for South Africa to win. South Africa looked done, and then Tristan Stubbs finds a last ball 6 to tie it again, sending us to a second super over, where South Africa went berserk, set 24, and Afghanistan needed a miracle. Gurbaz managed to hit 3 sixes in a row and then got them to 1 hit away again, but the last strike went straight to point, and the boundary they needed to force a third super over wasn't there to be had. Unfortunately, a couple of metres either side, and Afghanistan live again, and we go to a third. Instead, it's South Africa surviving, and Afghanistan now need more than just wins against the UAE and Canada to scrape their way through to the Super 8s. We move on to the second game, Australia and Ireland, and Australia finally launched their campaign, and it couldn't come soon enough for them. It felt like every day they were losing someone else to injury. The build-up, absolute mayhem for the Aussies. Mitch Marsh, to that point, was ruled out 15 minutes before the toss with a nasty testicular injury after being struck while batting earlier in the week. While Tim David's still rehabbing, no Josh Hazlewood replacement being called in as of yet, as they wait to see if Hazlewood can get fit. Australia were basically working from a squad of 12 available players. On top of all that, they've announced that Steve Smith will come in as cover for Marsh and his injury, so he will be coming over to Sri Lanka and India just to steady that squad depth. On the field, though, you wouldn't have known there was bumps. Australia were fairly clinical. A slow start with some early wickets was overcome as they made 182 for 6 on a slow Colombo pitch. It wasn't mindless slogging. In fact, it was a proper Plan B innings. The early wobble I touched on, Travis Head was run out in the second over, and it looked like it could have been one of those nights. A little bit of resurgence between Inglis and Green steadied things with a crucial stand and gave Australia some breathing space through the power play. Then they needed some key partnerships, and they decided to push. They were able to push on, despite wobbling at 88 for 4. Renshaw and Stoinis put on 61 off 44. It was about hard running, minimising dots, picking twos, and being selective and smart. Ireland's chase never really got going. Massive blow immediately. Paul Sterling retiring hurt first ball, and that took the air out of their innings. Then Nathan Ellis produced a masterclass in deception with his back-of-the-hand slower balls, cutters, and changes of pace, all those wonderful weapons that we know he is rolling out at his best. And he absolutely tore through them with 4 for 12. When Ireland tried to rebuild, in came Adam Zampa. 4 for 23, finishing off the job. Ireland all out, 115. Australia win by 67 runs. Given the depleted squad, the captain out, and a tricky surface, that's about as strong a start as Australia could have asked or even hoped for. On to game 3, England taking on the West Indies at the Wankhede, and West Indies have got it done again, winning by 30 runs in a match that swung hard on spin strangulation in the dew. The West Indies made 196 for 6, and the key, Shafane Rutherford. He's in absolutely magnificent form, an unbeaten 76. He was measured early and then absolutely brutal late. England struck first. The West Indies were 8 for 2, and Adil Rashid redeemed himself massively with a boundaryless spell of 2 for 16 that looked early like it might keep England in the hunt. But Rutherford's acceleration was timed perfectly. He got some support through the middle, and the West Indies' late hitting gave them a score with some real teeth. England's chase, it started hot and looked like they were well and truly on track for the pursuit. Phil Salt absolutely kicked it off in the power play. They were 1 for 67, and it looked like they had the match in their hands, England. The West Indies then went to their spin, though, and that shut the doors. Gus Modi took 3 for 33. Roston Chase chipped in with 2 for 29, and England's middle overs turned into a slow squeeze where boundaries dried up and wickets crept in, and things started to fall apart. England all out for 166. Sam Curran stranded on 43, not out, running out of teammates. The West Indies make it 2 wins from 2, with their spinners setting the tone. We now look ahead to what will be the games tonight and in the early hours of tomorrow Australian time, and we start with Oman versus Sri Lanka. Sri Lanka, as we touched on yesterday, are without Wanindu Hasaranga, and that does change some things tactically and psychologically. They'll likely bring in Dushan Hamantha as like-for-like cover, but Hasaranga is their middle overs wrecking ball and a key lower order hitter. So the pressure shifts hard onto Thikshana and Walalaj to control and take wickets, things they've been second and third fiddle at previously. For Oman, it's do or die. After losing to Zimbabwe, their path to an upset is clear. They need to get into Sri Lanka's middle overs and get into their middle order. Back their disciplined spin, especially if the pitch grips at all. But keep an eye on the venue factor. Sri Lanka's record at the Pallekele isn't great, and that's exactly the kind of bogey ground energy Oman will need to lean into to try and absolutely spring an upset against the hosts here. Game 2, Italy against Nepal, and this is a massive associate clash. Nepal come in buzzing after nearly pulling off the heist against England. They've got confidence, a loud crowd, and match winners. Lamashane with the ball, plus finishing power through Dipendra Ari and Lokesh Bam. The key for Nepal is tightening those death overs up. That's what cost them against England. Italy, meanwhile, is settling into World Cup life, but they'll be without skipper Wayne Madsen due to that shoulder injury he suffered in the first game. That means Harry Manetti will captain the side, and Italy needs someone to go beyond a nice start and kick on to a proper innings. Looking at Harry and Ben Manetti as the likely outcomes there. If Italy are going to compete, that big piece is going to be the Manetti brothers, most notably Ben, his clean over hitting, and that sneaky spin that he can bowl as well, especially with his power hitting up against Nepal's spin. No dew in an afternoon game, warm conditions. This could be a real scap if Italy can handle Sandeep Lamashane. Our third and final game for the day is India versus Namibia. India, they will be favourites for this. Let's not kid ourselves. But the headline is fitness and illness watch. They're managing some bodies and health. Bumrah's coming off some illness. Abhishek Sharma's recovering from a stomach issue after a hospital visit. And Washington Sundar as well. India might rotate, but they'll still want a statement after that sticky opener where they're made to work for their points. Namibia's angle is simple. India's top order didn't enjoy grip and pressure last time, so Namibia will try to create it again with early spin and squeeze. Bernard Skoltz is going to be the key man for them here. It's Delhi, it's small boundaries, and if India get rolling, it could get ugly fast. But Namibia, if they can land some early and constant punches, and India are slightly undercooked physically, it could get interesting, especially after the pressure of India's first game. Well, that's your World Cup Daily for February 12th. Recaps done, previews locked. A big day behind us, a bigger day coming. The cricket is continuing to heat up. Thanks for rolling in with us. If you enjoyed the video, make sure to hit like, make sure to hit subscribe on the channel, get involved in the comments and let us know what your key takeaways were. And of course, hit that bell icon down below for your notifications, and you can follow along on socials for more content, cricket and other sports at The Chris Mack Show on all your favourite social platforms. Big thanks for tuning in, and we look forward to seeing you again soon on your home of the black and white of sports. No grey opinions here.